What's up, Sifus? It's your boy Kaz at Midnite Lights Gaming, bringing you my next installment of my squats goal guide and tutorial with Squad Leader, which is a little bit of a longer one because you have to go through the whole level with a few modifiers and finish it under the age of 40. So you can see it here. This is, take note, just for the deluxe edition, so you have to buy that. And then you need to clear the entire squats level without taking any shortcuts and finish at 40 years old or less. And then you have to use these specific modifiers. So it includes permanent damage with health. That means like every bit of damage you get stays off. If you get a shrine upgrade, you get no health back. When you go to Fajar, typically your health pops all the way to 100%. It won't anymore. The next is enemy level is stronger. As near as I can tell, that means that they have more health. It just takes more to bring them down, to break their structure. They just have more like hit points basically. And then the last one is double damage. So that means that every time you do get hit, it does twice as many hit points to you. So it definitely creates a lot more difficulty in this level. You're probably going to die at least a few times. And keep in mind too, to even get these modifiers, you have to get points from completing some other goals. So this probably is like one of the first ones on here, but it might not be the first one that you do, because you're going to have to complete some other goals, get points, and then unlock the specific modifiers you need to complete this goal. So just a quick note that I do this goal and all my goals on Disciple difficulty, which is the original difficulty of the game. It's not the hardest difficulty, it's not the easiest difficulty. It's my go-to for everything, but you certainly can make this easier on yourself by using the easiest difficulty or easy mode, so to speak. And yeah, let's get into our tips. So these tips are really to help you have a better run each time with these specific modifiers activated and with the fact that you have to complete this level under the age of 40. So the first tip I have is strike first, strike hard, no mercy. And this one is all about being very much on the front foot, very attack-minded, a lot of heavy and light attacks. And you're going to avoid from time to time, of course. But for the most part, I'm not sitting around waiting for a block or a perfect parry. The opponents just aren't that tough in this level. I find you can be more efficient and even take less damage by just being the person that strikes first and strikes hard, including when someone like starts an attack to you, and then sometimes you can get a crotch punch before their swing lands and you're hitting them before they hit you, which can be really effective. Next is weapons and more weapons. So you should always be using weapons, but of course, because these opponents are stronger and weapons do more damage per swing and attack, this is just a really important one. As often as you want to know where all the weapons are, you want to use all the weapons you can, and of course disarm with sweeps and palm strikes to disarm quickly and efficiently, get those weapons and use them with vigor. Next is smart shrine upgrades. So this is a particular, like a unique challenge that requires maybe some shrine upgrades you wouldn't typically use. I'm gonna go over them in the full run through later on, so definitely stick around for that. This next one is a common tip I have in my walkthroughs and guides, which is to use resets. And you really want to use resets for this challenge, this goal, because some of these battles are marathons. Like, these guys are stronger. It takes a while to take them down, even with weapons. Like, you can just see the damage doesn't do as much. So note that, like, if you sort of like take a few guys out, you're doing really well, use that as an opportunity to find space somewhere else, jump over a table, make space so that you can kind of reset, survey the land, and get ready for the next guys coming your way. I just find the more you kind of make space, get out of being swarmed by a few guys, the better off you're going to be in terms of, like, yeah, keeping your multiplier up, but also just not dying as often. I think it's sort of a mental, psychological thing, but I also think, you're less vulnerable to attack when you're not surrounded by 6 guys, which is obvious. But take those resets, those little tiny little mental breaks, so you can then re-engage feeling fresh. Next is focus damage. So you need to, focus your damage. Like, focus your damage on typically one person at a time. So you can see in this sort of tattoo twins room, like, I know I'm going to go after one guy, and I'm going to work on taking that guy out so that I can move on to the other guy. And if it's a big room with a lot of guys, then what you want to do is make sure you're focusing on taking out, doing as much damage to one person at a time, and that it's the easier enemies, not the guys that are a little tougher and who have more life. So there you have it. Those are all of the tips, and let's jump into the full uncut entire squats walkthrough, where with all of those modifications, I beat the level under the age of 40.
I warned you, asshole.
Nothing too intense here, these first two guys, but it is a good chance to see, you know, how even these guys take longer to take down. Typically, you know, 3 moves without these modifications, I can take these guys down. So you already get a sense from the jump here that guys are going to be a bit harder. That sweep took a lot of damage off, or that move took a lot of damage off. So yeah, remember, no shortcuts, and use as many weapons as you can. So get that pipe, you can't take the shortcut. This is one of my favorite areas because it gives you a chance to throw guys off the balcony, which is always pretty fun. But yeah, again, no big secrets here. Just trying to break their structure by being very aggressive and going right after them. And here's where you get to start throwing people off the balcony, which is delightful. That's just throwing a bottle at them and pressing X and square on PS5 to throw them off, if you didn't know that already. Keeping this pipe super fresh by doing so as well. There are a couple moves you can do to keep your pipes fresh. Takedowns don't seem to mess with your pipe's duration. As well, you know, you can do like a back forward square, which I think typically is like a kick, so I don't think that messes with your weapon either. Not a lot you're doing too different in this room, because you can be so aggressive. This guy, you know, doesn't attack you until you're good and ready, so no sweat there. Now let's start talking about the side view hallway. So again, you want to be really aggressive when you get into this side view hallway. I think I grab a bottle, yeah. So you can get this first guy by throwing a bottle at him. You can also just walk right up to him and hit him. But the thing to know is that these stronger guys, you can't stealth kill them. So there's no guy in this where you like can sneak up on them, hit them, and instantly take them down. Like, that doesn't exist because they're so much stronger. Which tells me that their structure is stronger as well as their hit points. So yeah, you can just kind of see I make sure to get the pipe here. I make sure to use it with vigor. And I'm being really aggressive. I don't know that I block much at all in this. There was a block. I do a lot of avoiding. Again, just focusing one guy as much as I can, one guy at a time, take him out of the fight, move on to the next guy. You don't have, because this is a pretty narrow hallway, you're not going to have a lot more than 2 or 3 people surrounding you at once. So it's good to reset and make space where you can and if you need to. But for the most part, like, it's pretty manageable just working your way through this. Now, the 2 people I just took down typically are the harder ones. I think it feels like they have a bit more life or a bit more skill. I could be wrong. Sometimes it's hard to tell. Ooh, landed there. And here's my first death. The double damage thing really gets you. I sort of forgot that was one of the modifiers on, and I was feeling real bad about myself, but every hit takes a ton of damage off, and no takedown rebuilds your health. So there's no way to get any of your health back in this entire level. The most you can do is reset your death meter at a shrine. But there you have it. That's the side view hallway. Using those weapons, really focusing one guy at a time, and yeah, strike first, strike hard, no mercy, baby. All right, moving right along to the courtyard area. So again, there are no sneak attacks here. You can't stealth anyone. When I go in here, there is a mop right there, which maybe you can see, or I guess maybe a broom. I'm going to use that a little bit later. Again, like when you do this in the normal version without these modifications, this room is so easy. You barely blink, but in this one, it takes a minute. It takes a minute. Don't forget to use your focus always. So this is a place where typically that would be enough for me to do an instant takedown. But he's got too much structure, so it's not going to happen. Yeah, you can see that one punch. That knee to the gut. Oh my goodness, these two are kicking my ass. I want to say it's the modifications, but really that was just not very good. So anyway, got through it, but it's not looking good. I'm almost certain that I die in this next section. But yeah, use that environment too. That could have been a tip. It's just sort of like you need to do all of the things you typically do. You just have to do them more often and better. But I really want that pipe. So, oh man, yeah, I sweep that. I disarm that guy, but then I get kicked. So my death meter's at 2. And I also know that in this section, when you beat it or when you take down a certain guy, your death meter will go down. I think this is the first point in the level where your death meter can go down. So just keep that in mind. If it means you need to like make more space or take your time a little bit more just to make sure. Ooh, that took a lot of life. You know, feel free to do that. So that's the guy. I guess it's that tattooed guy that brings your death counter down. Now remember in this section too that either the tattoo guy or the suspender guy can turn into like go into fire mode. So don't take them down. You want to just keep attacking until they're knocked out. Don't do a takedown with those guys. And yeah, you can see I always save this broom. There's a pipe out in the courtyard, so I use that pipe to get through those 3 guys, and then I bring the broom to the next section. Sometimes I'll even drop the broom. You can drop weapons now by just holding R1 on PS5. Okay, so yep, I do weapon proficiency. So let's talk about why. So their damage is a lot worse, and weapon proficiency makes your weapons a little bit more powerful. So the reason I chose that and not like bringing the death counter down to 0, even though I think it was down to 1, I think that's a good one, is bringing your death count down to 0, especially if your death count's quite high. Of course, that's going to be all about survival. But because there are so many weapons in this level, and really at every turn, I really leaned into weapon proficiency. I wasn't worried about the weapons lasting very long and improving their durability. I was more interested in the proficiency because I need to do more damage because these guys are stronger, more powerful. So that's my rationale. For shrines in the squad leader goal, I really focused on weapon proficiency and yeah, putting the death counter down to 0. I also really like having this broom for that guy. You can pretty much just triangle, 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 or like heart attack, heart attack, heart attack, or strong attack rather, over and over, that big guy in the last room. Alright, so we're going to get into the office now. So again, this isn't the biggest, it's not as big as this is like the money counting room, and then you kind of have the drug room later that's massive in 2 levels. But obviously I'm coming up to, I know that guy always picks up the pipe, so I'm going to him first because hell, I want that pipe. You don't get to have it. And I'm going to use that pipe to actually, just rip through these guys. So going after one guy at a time, doing takeouts as often as I can, making space wherever I can. What the hell happened there? And remember too, what's really nice, you don't want to put yourself in a corner, but every time you kick someone into an object, like a desk or, oh man, how did I not get out of the way of that? He telegraphed that from a mile away. But if you kick someone, it does damage, and then if they back, like if you kick them into a desk, that does a bit extra damage. So, kind of sticking around objects and walls can be good, but of course don't get yourself into a corner. That's the last thing you want to do. The other last thing you want to do is, the shirtless guy there turns into fire mode. So does the bandana guy. I think this bald, so the bandana guy and the bald guy are the guys that can go into fire mode. So try not to take either of them down, because I tried to take down bandana guy, and here he is in fire mode. And you just don't need that when every death costs you so dearly. I really like that. I really like when a guy's blocking a lot. Like I'm attacking on mid combo and he's blocking a lot. I really like to sweep then because they're very. I mean, guys are generally quite vulnerable to the sweep anyway. Don't forget that fresh pipe before you leave. But I like that. You attack high, they're blocking, you sweep low. That sweep almost always lands. So this is a great room to help understand the importance of kind of focusing on one guy at a time with them being so much stronger. So that first guy, I just know every second I'm not attacking him, his structure gets to come back. So I'm really just getting after him. And then once it's one-on-one in this room, you're going to be just fine. But when both of them are coming after you, it's stressful. So just, focus your damage, just like the tip said. Okay, in this one, I think I'm going to go to... I guess I thought about weapon durability for a second. But I'm going to go back to weapon proficiency. Like I said, I focused on weapon proficiency to do as much damage as possible because these guys are stronger. So we're going to get into the drug making room, the drug packaging room, maybe? Not sure. And again, like this first guy, typically I can get a stealth kill. We all can get a stealth kill out of him, but not so much. You can stun him though and throw him off, which is even more satisfying. So there you go. I'm getting a weapon as soon as I can. I don't even care what weapon it is. I will say it's like very obvious to me how much these little bamboo sticks don't do as much damage as a pipe. So actually, if I were you, I would go and get a pipe as soon as possible in this level. One, so that you have it and an enemy doesn't get it, but also because it's just going to do more damage. This really doesn't do as much as the pipe. At least I don't think it does. I can't back that up with like any math or real measuring. All right, so a couple people can go into like fire or berserker mode in this. I'll try and point them out when I see them. I think that woman who's just kind of got the like sports bra on, or the tank top who's punching me right now, I think she can turn. I think, yep, that guy in the overalls, I think is maybe one of the most likely people to turn. Don't forget to use that focus, y'all. Here I am creating lots of space. I don't have a weapon, so I'm making a lot of space. These two ganging up on you is not going to be good. Those are the two that I think are the hardest in this area and turn into fire mode. Does anyone actually know what that mode is called? Like when they shift and they have flames around them, what's that called? Does it say anywhere? I'm curious if y'all know what the game calls that. Go ahead and put it in the comment section. So I'm trying my best to focus on one person at a time here, but they make it real hard. So good, you notice I didn't try and take her down, this sports bra person, because she would have turned. I think she would have turned. So I died twice, once or twice in that. My self-esteem's okay. I'm feeling pretty good. So I did this in my first try. I could have done a few runs and got you something that had me dying less. But, you know, I think it's good to show like it is what it is. It's not the perfect run. It gets the job done. What am I? I think it looks like I'm 28 right now. So nobody turns in this. Was I able to sneak attack that big guy? Maybe I was. So yeah, typically I come in, I drop my pipe in that room by holding R1. Sometimes I'll do that. In this case, I use the pipe to get through that level, to get through that area rather. So what am I doing now? Weapon proficiency. So 3 weapon proficiencies. I think my death counter is up to like 2 or 3. So I would say it's like when your death counter gets to 4 or 5, you probably need to reset it. But until then, you're going to be okay. I think you're going to be okay. So Fajar with the strength and everything. So fortunately, Fajar is not the toughest boss. But of course, everything that he lands does double damage, and when his knife comes out in the second round, it's pretty scary. But you can see I'm being very aggressive here. His attacks are so repetitive, and you can avoid and open up that window. That combo is square, triangle, 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 or light, hard attack, light, strong attack, strong attack, strong attack, and it will knock him on his ass, and you can do a ground and pound just like that. So that's what I do when he does his like 3-move combo, 1, 2, 3. I just avoid on the last one. Sometimes it's a straightaway kick. Sometimes it's like an overhead sort of kick, and so as long as you dodge that, it'll open a vulnerability window, and you can square, triangle, triangle, triangle him, and get a ground and pound. Does plenty of damage. Honestly, it's the big rooms. In my experience of this challenge, it's the big rooms where you're gonna die, not Fajar. Like, only having one guy to worry about, I don't know, it just was way easier. The big rooms, it's like one person hits you, and then if two people hit you, it's like, okay, that's a life. So you can see I got a weapon. I always try and use a weapon here because I'm doing a lot of dodging, and of course this helps with your structure. If you block with a weapon, it does a lot less damage to your structure. I also find that in this part, it's kind of cool because you don't really need a vulnerability window to attack Fajar. He can like land an attack, or if you just block all of his attacks in between his a full combo and his next combo, you can attack and he won't block. It's like he's in a constant vulnerability window after he attacks. So, I mean, I'm doing a ton of structure damage here. I mean, oh man, that move, I've talked about it before, but getting kicked is bad enough, but when that bamboo pops up behind you, I just want to freak out. Like, I just want to freak out. So he's landing a couple moves here. I don't have my weapon anymore. Let's see if I'm going to go get another one. Nope, I got him. So I think I get a little cocky here and actually move to spare him, which you shouldn't do. You absolutely don't have to do. You can kill him. So if you want to mess around a little bit and prove how amazing you are, great. But if you're like 35, I would just go ahead and end him when the prompt comes up. Ooh, that kick hurt. Dang, it's really, you just see that whole chunk of life fly right off. So not only did I work to sparing him, I actually didn't spare him. I didn't press the left on the joypad. I pressed the kill him buttons. So there you have it. Not the most graceful, not the most beautiful, but very effective. I died. I finished it under the age of 30, which I feel real good about. So I hope that helped. I hope that commentary helped. That should get you the Enforcer armor and the squad leader. Might as well go have a peek at what this armor looks like now that we got it. This is my first time seeing it. So yeah, it's this Enforcer armor, very padded knee pads and elbow pads. I guess that helps you kick more ass. I can see that. Also, it reminds me of the movie Raid. That side view hallway in the squats reminds me. A lot of things from this game remind me of the movie Raid, which you should totally watch. It's an incredible martial arts movie. But yeah, thanks for watching. That gets you squad leader. That gets you Enforcer armor. I'm the Cause at Midnight Lights. Check me out on Twitter and Instagram at Midnight_Lights. Midnight spelled a little different. And yeah, just remember that if I ever make any money from my videos, half of what I make will go to a charity that me and my subscribers agree to give to. So hit that like, hit that subscribe, help me start getting some money to charity, and I'll talk to you soon.